Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. And I'm Ken Dekker.
And I'm Yetta Dekker.
And together we form part of the Dekker Team.
Absolutely.
So today we have a great question. And it is, as a buyer, what is the best thing to look out for to determine that a house will be the right home for me?
Okay.
And secondly, what should I look out for? In other words, what pitfalls should I attempt to avoid?
Okay. That's a long introduction. How did you guys like that? Anyway, that was awesome, Ken. So we're looking
It's not
at
as long as the answer is going to be.
No, the answer will be much longer. So what do I have to determine to decide if a house is for me? Mm-hmm. That's the question one of our buyers asked. Well, a lot of our buyers ask, actually. Okay, so what are, I guess the first three things is, does it fit within the location that you want to be? Yeah. Is it location, location, location? Because if the location isn't right, it really doesn't matter how much you love the home. We're still going to discourage you from buying it if it doesn't suit you from a location perspective. So really the first three factors to consider if the home's going to suit you or not is location, and then location and location. Yeah. And then on top of that, we've got to make sure that it falls within your price range, within your comfort zone. And it isn't, for us, it is not about pushing our clients to go beyond what they want to spend, because we don't want you to be feeling house poor, right? So it's a matter of determining if what you're looking for and what you need to work for your family is available in the price range that you're looking to spend.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is the banks, when they're doing your pre-approval, what they're doing is they're looking at, well, what typically is a family going to need for food and for transportation and all that sort of thing. So they set their amounts based on that. But what they don't take into consideration is if you're a tither. So if you give to the church, if you give 10% of your income off the top, they're not taking that into effect. They're also not taking into effect giving. So if you tithe and give, then there's more. And then thirdly, what they're not taking into consideration is saving. So maybe you want to save money for other investments.
10% or 15%?
Yeah. Or maybe you want to save money to buy a future investment property. So rather than max yourself out on just real estate and be what we call house poor or house broke, we want to say, well, let's draw that back a little bit. That's comfortable for you and your lifestyle, and make sure.
Because it may even be vacations. It may be that you want to have a vacation every second year or every year.
You need a vacation
every year. Right. So you want to look at not just what the bank is telling you. You do want to look at what your specific lifestyle is, and then even if you're starting out, you may want to decide that you are going to be a little bit tighter, and maybe there is a season to be a little bit on the house broke side. Because you know that occasionally you know that your income's going to be going up significantly over the short term. And because you can already see the career path you're on and the opportunities that are before you. So you may want to stretch it a little bit because
it's cheaper than selling and rebuying.
Right. So you want to stay in a home. Ideally, in this market, I would say ideally you want to be in a home 5+ years. Before you go to sell. It's always been at least 3, and I would think in our shifting market, I would encourage you to be 5+. Yep. And so we want to attempt to make a buying decision that is going to allow you to stay there so that your equity continues to be protected. Right? And so that's an important thing to take into consideration, is the whole financial aspect.
Yeah. And then the third kind of typical thing we're going to look at is the number of bedrooms. How big a home do you need for your family? If are you going to put 2 kids in a bedroom, or do you need a 4-bedroom, or are you okay with a 3-bedroom, or are you okay with a 2-bedroom? Maybe if you're empty nesters, or you're moving, you're first-time house buyer and you're just a couple, maybe you might be buying a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom townhouse, condo, whatever.
Right, high rise, maybe that suits your lifestyle. So we have to look at your overall life, because we want to create a home purchase that's going to fit your lifestyle and who you are, really. So that's a huge factor to consider.
Yeah.
And then we're typically going to ask you from a house perspective, what are your 3 must-haves?
Other than the first 3 we talked about.
Yeah.
Those are given.
Those are given. We have to be in the right location, we have to be in the right price, and we have to be the right size. If those things aren't being taken into consideration, then we don't even have anywhere to start. So we'll get those handled. And then we're saying, what are your 3 additional must-haves? Must it have a double-car garage? Must it have an ensuite? Must it either have hardwood or be able to have hardwood installed? Must it be carpet or have the ability to take out the hardwood and put in carpet? Could go either way.
Yeah. And usually what we find is those things that are easily changed, like flooring, don't end up on the must-have scale.
Right.
They're on the nice-to-have.
Exactly.
Like central air. If it's got a central heating system, central air is $3,000-$4,000 to install. So typically we would say, okay, that's going to be on your nice-to-have. So the must-haves, we're going to allow usually 3 more. And when we say we allow, it's really we're guiding you through the process so that you can make an educated decision on the property that you're going to buy, so that we as a partnership get you the right property.
Right.
And if we have too many must-haves, we'll end up never buying a house, because there is no 100% perfect house. If we can get a home that's around 80% of what you're looking for, then that's probably a good match. And we may say, is this something that you want to put an offer in on? And if you say no, we'll say, okay, well, it has the 3 criteria, and it has your 3 must-haves, and it has a couple of the nice-to-haves. So what are we missing here? What do we need to change something off the must-have and put something else on? Or what's missing? So it's the way of us filtering, helping you make a great decision on your buying purchase.
Right.
So must-haves could be, like you said, the number of garage.
Well, it could also be lot size.
Lot size.
Lot size is an often must-have. Because if you, as an example, we just had a buyer recently who came from a country property, and due to specific health concerns had to get into a smaller property and within commuting for a bus into the city. And so that meant we couldn't have our big acreage anymore because it wasn't available in the city on the bus route. So we had to find a property that had as large a backyard as possible so that the family could continue to have those things that were important to them: the trampoline, the pool, the track, the half pike, for the skateboard. Those things that were not an issue at all, play structure. So we had to find something large enough that you could still the fire pit, the deck, and all those things. And so that narrowed down which properties we were even willing to go look at.
Yeah.
Because it was a must-have.
Yeah.
And that's great because it actually makes the process maybe take a little longer because you're waiting for that just right house, except when it comes up, you know it.
Now, another one that's a little harder to filter by, we have to actually look at houses, read descriptions, that sort of thing, because there are certain criteria we can filter automatically on our computer system. But one might be the condition of the property. Somebody might say, if I'm buying this value of property because I have to go to this price to get it in the location I need and the size, then I can't buy a house that needs any
additional
future work.
Right. Or updating.
So I need one that's got the roof done recently, that's got the furnace updated, because the houses in that area may be 20, 25 years old, and I need to make sure all those things that are typically wear out in that time frame have been done, and I don't have the money to pay for doing them. So that could be a must-have.
Right, and so we would hand filter those, manually do that. Another must-have could be a pool.
Yeah.
Now, if it doesn't have a pool, provided the price was such that you could install the pool and the lot size allowed you to put in a pool, it may become on the nice to have the house with the pool already versus the must have.
Yeah, it really depends on the person. Some people say, I don't want to go through the hassle of putting one in. I want it there. Most of the time that's going to be an in-ground pool.
Yes.
Above grounds are pretty quick to install, pretty quick to take out if they're there and you don't like them.
Yeah.
That also may be a must-have is it doesn't have a pool.
Or that the seller will fill it in.
Yeah.
Right, because that happens too, right? We've certainly done that. Another must-have may be the specific floor plan, either a more closed floor plan or a more open floor plan, a particular size in an eating area, a particular size in a dining room.
Yep, for furniture.
For furniture.
We've had people come back with wall units from Europe that are huge. and they need a certain wall dimension in a room to put that unit against it. And so that becomes a must-have.
So just about anything can be a must-have. And we'll want to do our utmost to make the must-haves things that are not readily changeable.
Yeah, like an ensuite bathroom.
Right, whether it has one or not having one. Now, mind you, on occasion, Candace actually purchased a home several years ago. It did not have an ensuite bathroom. It was on our must-have list, except there was a laundry room located on the main level off a dining room that they were able to close the wall, open it up from the other side of the house, and now it was an ensuite into the master.
Fairly major renovation, though.
Well, it was, but it still made a house that wasn't at all on the list something that was suitable. So understanding what you're able to do or not able to do in the must-have list can sometimes create something that doesn't look right to actually be right. Right?
And so when we go to the nice-to-haves, and we like to take that list because we still want to give you as much as we can of the houses, but we don't want to narrow it so far that we get nothing. We got nothing to show you. That's not good either.
No.
So, but you might say, well, a fireplace is important, although you could install a fireplace.
Yeah.
A hot tub might be on the nice-to-have. A finished basement might be nice to have, or granite countertops might be nice to have, or hardwood flooring, or things of that nature.
A theater room, or even the pool might be a nice to have versus a, right? And maybe the condition of the property when we talk about those shingles and windows and those things that wear out might be a nice to have for you and may not be a must have. Right? You don't mind doing it later provided the property's priced according to the fact that those things haven't been done. If they need doing, right?
And sometimes we got to be careful ruling out a house on a particular thing because sometimes it can be adjusted. Like I've had cases where the shingles are really done and we negotiate into the offer that the seller replace the shingles with a certain grade, a certain color prior to closing. And then there's no out-of-pocket money for the buyer, and they're buying a house that doesn't need shingles for another 30 years.
Well, seriously?
Yeah, 35, 40-year shingles now. They're better.
Well, you're still going to get 15 to 20. Who's kidding who?
I'm kidding me, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so certainly something that you've got many, many years left on the shingles would be the scenario there. So what else would I want to think about to determine if a home's right for me?
Well, I think if we hit most of those, I think we've got it. Again, you might want that expandability. We might look at our future and go, oh, as a couple, well, we've got one child, maybe we're going to have one or two more. We don't know. Will the house suit? Can we find other bedrooms or move? Maybe it's I need an office, and can I have it upstairs? And then when I have another child, can I move that office downstairs, make it an office down there in the basement? That kind of, can the house grow with me as my family changes?
Right, that would be an awesome thing to determine, because if you think it's your forever house, then we want to have that conversation about what does a forever house look like? And if it's not it today, can we make it that? We're just helping a client right now, in fact, where they had several years ago, not with us, purchased what they thought was their forever house. And they've started doing the extensive renovations, replaced a kitchen, done some bathroom work, replaced some flooring. It's beautiful. And yet what they've recognized is it is a single car garage home. And so their forever house needs a double car garage. It's a 3-bedroom home, not a 4-bedroom upstairs. So they've decided it's not a forever house after all. So even if they put the money into the other upgrades, let's say refinishing the basement and making it beautiful, it still isn't actually going to serve them in the long haul.
Yeah.
So rather than do that, let's stop spending the money on that house, sell it, and it's beautiful, so we'll get good market for that, and then buy a home that they can make their dream home. That can be their forever house.
Yeah.
And so, you really do want to stay in a house as long as possible just to protect your equity, and yet there sometimes are reasons that things shifted faster than you thought they would. Right?
Now, one of the things that's going to help, we basically hit some of the highlights. But when you're looking at a house purchase, it's a big deal. So what we found is that spending an hour with us in advance of even going out and looking at houses, you spend about an hour and we do a free consultation. And during that consultation, we're going to go through all these criteria with you and help ask questions that maybe you didn't even think to ask yet because you haven't been through the process. So you don't know what you don't know yet.
Right. And even if you have been through the process before, the consultation is an awesome opportunity to even hear the different viewpoints of the different parties that will be living in the house. Mm-hmm. If you're just joining us on the Inside Track on real estate right now, we've been talking about what determinants a buyer ought to use to decide if it's the right house for them. Mm-hmm. And so we will, as the show we're just chatting about, do a consultation for you to help ensure that you're making a great decision and that you're not going to be 6 weeks in and dislike your home. And actually something that we've done for the last, I guess, almost 25 years is we have offered a guarantee to all of our clients. It simply says, love your home, or we will sell it without charging you a marketing fee, a listing fee. Mm-hmm. And for the first 6 months that you're in the home, we're saying to you, that way you're going to be insured, or hopefully assured, that we're not pushing you into a home just because we think it's a good idea for you. That we're really listening to what's important to you and making sure that we're helping you make a decision that actually will serve you. So it's not like 3 days after you move in, you go, what have I done? Mm-hmm. And so that is neat fallback guarantee.
Yeah, it is. And it brings me to another point, which, the initial question was, how do I determine the best house for me to be my home? And that one of those things is pick a great realtor, because when you pick a great realtor, they got your interests at heart.
Right.
And what we're going to do is, you'll find when you work with the Dekker team, there is absolutely no pressure to buy any particular house, and we don't force anybody. When you find the house that you want and you say to one of us, this is it. And a lot of times, actually, about 80% of the people, they know it kind of when they walk in the door. They get that sense, that knowing in their spirit that this is home.
Right, because they've already looked at it online. They've already Googled it. They've mm-hmm. already done the numbers. We've already done so much, right?
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that at that point, then things will move very quickly, because we don't want you to lose the house that you've decided you want to live in. So now we're going to go, okay, let's go to the office, let's do up the offer, let's send it over. Things happen very quickly. But prior to you saying, yeah, this is the house I want, there is zero pressure to buy a home.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Because what we want for you is that it's the right place to call home, that you're not going to call us 2 days after you've moved in and say, what have I done? Mm-hmm. Or worse than that, after you firmed up on the condition, said, what have I done? So having the finance condition, the building inspection condition, those are really assurances also that you can get into the house, feel it again, experience it again, make sure there's nothing you missed. I mean, you don't want to put an offer in not believing it's the home for you.
Right.
And yet the building inspection does give you an opportunity to find out the condition of the property and ensure that it really does suit you well.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to spend during that inspection 2-3 hours in the house.
Right.
Great opportunity to get more of a feel for it, get comfortable with it, reassure yourself that you made the right decision.
And where does your furniture go, and how are you going to live in the house, and all of that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the consultation process, can you tell us a little more, Ken, about what that experience is like for a buyer, or even a seller that's also buying?
Yeah, really the buyer consultation is really us asking questions to find out what you really want. And it's interesting because as couples, if you're a husband and wife or a couple buying a house, many times you're not 100% on the same page. And so much better to get that out in an office where you got a third party that can kind of referee a little bit and bring you onto the same page, rather than go out looking at houses and then one decides that they want house number A or house A, and the other decides they want house B, and now that's when the fight broke out, Your Honor. We'd rather fix those things in the consultation and make sure we're going out looking for the same house.
Exactly. And then the other thing we do, even in advance of actually booking the consultation in our office, is we provide you a buyer preparation guide, which gives you some of those core fundamentals, some of those things to start thinking about, some of the mistakes that buyers can make. So there's some information there. It's just about a dozen pages. It's a quick email. PDF that will give you good, solid information and start to get you thinking about what is it I really want, and asking questions maybe in a slightly different way to cause you to make sure you are on the same page, so that when you sit down, often by then within the consultation, we're already 80% of the way there.
Yep.
Because of the preparation guide. So that's been a really valuable tool that our buyers have really asked for over the years. And pretty much every process and every piece of our journey that we have for our clients is something our buyers and our sellers have told us that they're looking for, that it would help them have a better experience. So there's also a home buying, home selling guide that's been personalized for our buyers and our sellers that gives you step by step what to expect. Because during that consultation, we're asking a lot of questions, you're giving a lot of answers, and we're providing some information about what to expect, what's next. And
what
it's a
your
lot.
closing costs might be and all that kind of thing.
Right. So it's nice to have a hard copy where you can see all that.
Yeah. So in answering the second part of the question, which is what should I look out for, one is get a realtor that's got your best interests at heart.
It's huge.
You want to make sure that they want to look after you, that they don't have dollar signs in their commission breath or just dollar signs in their eyes, that all they're looking for is a quick sale.
Right, because at the end of the day, we've discovered decades ago that as we care for our client, we automatically will earn a paycheck. And so we don't ever have to think about the fact that we will or won't get a paycheck, which is kind of cool. It's a neat place to be coming from, that we can just say, that's what you're looking for, let's get to work on it, and when it happens, it happens. There's no pressure, there's no reason to move this thing forward quickly, other than if you tell us you're in a hurry. Then I know how to do it quickly.
Exclusive buyer representation is another thing that you might want to look out for. That means that you sign an agreement for a realtor to represent your interests, to keep your personal information confidential, to look for the property, and look for any issues with properties. To do kind of that pre-inspection walkthrough with you when you're looking at the house in the first place, giving you some ideas of pluses or minuses of that property, and then looking for zoning issues, things like that, of properties around the property, what the future uses might be. All those things they don't have to do if they're not representing you.
Right.
They do if you ask, but they don't have to do it.
No.
Whereas if you're being represented, it's part of their due diligence to make sure that they look after you in that way.
Like even to the point that if we're out looking at a property with our buyer and we've put the offer in, and now another property comes onto the market that we're convinced is a better property, we have to, legally we have an obligation, if we're representing your best interest, to introduce you to that property. Not just say, hey, we've already got one, and then you get to decide between the two as to whether it really is a better property or not. So it's really to leave every stone unturned. So whether it's new construction, whether it's resale, whether it's a lot, and then we're going to find a builder to build a home on that lot, it doesn't matter. We have an obligation to represent you in your best interest and well.
Yeah.
Because we're liable for that.
Yep. So another thing to look out for is that you get the proper inspections.
Right.
Home inspection, if it's in the country, well and septic. If there's a chance of environmental problems, get the environmental inspection. If you're in like the Canada area, you might want to have a radon gas inspection or test done. There's all kinds of things that...
And if you see some evidence of mold, every home has likely a little bit of mold, whether it's around a faucet.
Every house has a certain amount of mold.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the beast. What we're looking for, though, is excessive mold. Because anytime there's water and heat, we're going to have, or moisture and heat, not even water, we're going to have some mold. So we want to really be careful that there's not an excessive amount of mold, and we want the house to be dry.
Okay.
Right?
So another thing to look out for is that the actual inspection that you pay for is a snapshot of the condition of the home at the time that the inspector is in there. Could something change 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month down the road? It could. You could have a leak. You could have a crack develop. It could be, the condition can change. So know that your inspection is not a warranty or a guarantee on the home. It's simply an information of what their visual inspection shows about the property.
Right.
So that's important to look out for.
And then another thing to ensure is in your agreement, and that's what we're going to do for you, is warranties. Because if you can't get certain warranties, it may not be the house for you. Now, if you're buying a home that is bank-owned,
no guarantees.
There will be no guarantees. So you just need to know that you have enough money to budget for those things.
Yep.
Right? So lots and lots of things. And we would love to sit down with you and do a personalized one-on-one consultation. Either ourselves, Ryan or Candace, and can answer your questions, as well as we have a monthly workshop on home buying, which is a fantastic opportunity to get a general overview of everything we've just talked about and a whole lot more.
And we typically have a mortgage broker, a lawyer, and a realtor there, so you can get a good balanced view of the buying process.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us on the Inside Track. We don't want to miss out featuring a great property.
So today we're going to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
We talk a lot, but we don't talk about lots that frequently. We have a great lot. It's in the Greeley area. It backs onto one of those man-made lakes, so it's a beautiful view out the back, once you build your home. That's listed at $190,000. And obviously with a lot that's $190,000, you know that the homes in the neighborhood are kind of upper scale, nice homes. So we've got a great builder in the Greeley area, and we can connect you with the lot and the builder and create a really nice
custom dream home.
Yeah.
Because it's a perfect setting, and there's already quite a few homes in the area, so you won't be living under the construction dust.
No, as a matter of fact, it's one of the few lots left
remaining
in that area. Yeah.
And so if you want to be there, you want to call us.
Yeah, 613-860-4663 is that number. 613-860-4663. Give us a call. We'd love to help you through the process of buying a home.
And when is that buyer workshop?
That would be the third Thursday of the month.
And so all you'll want to do if you want to attend that, or you know anybody that would like to attend that, even if you've already owned a home, it is a valuable lot of information that you're going to get there. We're back to a lot. Anyway, that is the third Thursday. You'll want to call our office at 613-860-4663 to register, or info@Dekker Team. Anything else we need to tell them before we say bye for today?
I just need to repeat that number because you said it really fast. 613-860-4663, and we're glad you joined us on the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team.
Talk to you soon.